shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey.
Welcome back to the Brian Roberts Podcast. Before we jump into the episode, please like and subscribe to the show. Now, in true March Madness spirit, join my conversation with the University of Missouri head basketball coach, Dennis Gates. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, B, man. I appreciate your love, your support, but also the time you spend, man, getting to know me and getting to know our program behind the scenes. So it really means a lot.
Well, I think I owe you a bit of gratitude, man. I mean, not many people get the opportunity to come kind of behind the curtain and, you know, meet everybody, and you've been super gracious to me, and I'm forever grateful for that, so I appreciate you.
Hey, everybody's not good at dressing teams, neither. You're pretty good at it. You're pretty good at it.
Well,
your leadership shows now.
What a game. Unbelievable. One of my favorite plays of the night. It was on the down low. You passed it in, hit you across the corner, got it to ice cold cruise for those free throws at the end of the game. Unbelievable. Hear my heart when I say this. Right now, this team, this brotherhood, remember where you're at right now. We talked about momentum in the season. That was a big win, but we're not done yet. We got 3 more games going to head into Nashville. Nobody wants to play this team. I promise you that. I'm super excited. I will be there. My whole crew will be there. We're going to have a good time. I got to say, T.O. Barrett tonight. T.O. Barrett!
So you're pretty good. So now if you didn't do a good job, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't be asked back. Okay,
second.
Noted. All right, noted. Yeah, last time in there having coach from UCLA, that was amazing just for me to sit back and, you know, as a fan of the game, hear him. And I thought his message of being a good teammate, I mean, that never gets old, you know?
Yeah, no question. Coach Herrick has done a great job. And just think about this. His player started this whole NIL thing.
That's
Ed
right.
O'Bannon.
That's right.
And the O'Bannon brothers. And that case is what has obviously transpired that allows college basketball student athletes in the current state to monetize. So it was definitely not only leadership and championship, but also a new era of sports in there.
Great point. I didn't make that connection. Man, I'd love to unpack that, because probably when you started your career versus now and the ability for, you know, monetizing the game.
Yeah.
Tell me about the trials and tribulations of that, because I can't imagine it probably changes the face of recruiting.
Yeah.
You probably have to step up your game on the business acumen side of things, just to understand how all the parts fit together. And, I mean, you're really managing you're managing a large business now.
I'll tell you what, when we came out of college or came out of high school and went through college, monetization was Pell Grant, work study, or just a normal 9-to-5 job, in addition to juggling your college basketball responsibilities. So now we're in this era. I truly support student athletes monetizing. There's no doubt about it. But there has to be some guardrails in the establishment of it, no different than there are at the pro levels. There has to be some type of help from the outside, whether it's Congress, to support. I wish these kids could have money going to retirement.
Yeah.
I think that will help them long term, but also just taken out with taxes. And if you just have that, I think you'll have a little bit more safety and a little bit more long-term benefits that allow these student athletes to take care of their money financially.
Well, and some of these athletes, the amount of money that they're giving,
Right.
I mean, you're talking legacy wealth if they plan
Absolutely.
right, if they do the right things.
Absolutely.
And you know where my heart is and what my career has been. But, man, my ploy for some of these athletes is educate yourself, surround yourself with the right people that can help you make those decisions, because it could change the whole trajectory of what they have 20, 30, 40 years down the road.
I think we're in the middle of the transition. We're not at the finish line of it. I'm excited to see what the finish line looks like, but there's so many radical changes that need to happen that goes against the traditional landscape of what the term student athlete means. I would love to hear more academic policies, more academic reform take place in addition to this. But the biggest thing is having some type of union or some type of employment protection that allows these kids to understand, yes, this money you will never make again, or at least the chances of you making this money or the amount of it in the same way is not guaranteed. So being able to hear the stories of these kids giving back because of what they've invested in, the different things that they've done with their money to help it sort of multiply a little bit, would be a astonishing story. We're just on the cusp, and we will never hear it right now, but I can't wait to hear those stories.
Yeah, and I think financial literacy comes to mind. Like, can you imagine if you were 18 to 22 years old and somebody said, Dennis, man, you were talented. We want you to play for our organization.
Yeah.
Here's your opportunity. I mean, I know what I would have done. And I got to say, man, if we could just grab these guys and gals and be like, listen, let me teach you about compound interest. Let me teach you about taxes, to your point.
Wow.
Pay yourself first.
Yeah.
All the nice chains and shoes and cars, all that's going to be there. And it'll be there in spades if you invest this and do it the right way.
Absolutely. I think so often when we look at the big picture of what you're just saying, when I was 18 to 22-year-old and I had $200 in my account, I would say that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then with that lot of money, nothing stopped me from saying, let me go buy a $150 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, are you making the right decisions, or are you even possibly able to make the right decisions? So the literacy, that's what I mean by academic reform and policies. There should be institutional financial classes that are mandatory for these kids to even be qualified to play. There should be retirement classes that are already in the department, but they're housed in the major, not the baseline of entry-level classes for the common student athlete. I think that will help. That will help in investment. That will help understanding the bare minimum, because some, I know I didn't have the education from my family in this area. I didn't know what a trust, a will. They're making them out money where they should be having wills and 100%. Trust. And I just didn't have that. And then as I gotten into my profession and made a little bit more, those conversations came for the 30-year-old Dennis Gates, 40-year-old Dennis Gates, not the 18 to 22-year-old that is making 7 figures or 6 figures.
Right. And even on the financial literacy side, it's even for coaches, man, because I got to imagine, I'm a huge advocate of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Yeah. I believe coaches have influence big time. Yep. And I imagine a lot of these young men come to you like, hey, coach, what should I do here? Yeah. What do you think about this? So I think it's amazing, for you to have that knowledge and then impart it on them, because I'm sure the Dennis Gates that, is 35 to 45 thinks real differently than the Dennis Gates at 18 to 25.
Now, the 18 to 22-year-old me was a little bit mature.
Okay.
But he definitely was not the one that lived life and have all these experiences that my age have presented me with. So for me, there's no doubt, and you know it best, in leadership, you have a responsibility. And you're not just what your job title says. Sometimes that becomes psychological. You're the psychiatrist.
Yep.
You're the social worker. You're the emergency manager. You are the motivator, the mentor. You're all of the above based off what that person needs to be at least the best version of themselves, and you to at least understand the things that they are going through on a daily basis. So that's what helps me now in coaching, to be honest, is the relationship. You don't, everybody thinks that players leave the institution. They leave the people. They leave the people who are at the institution at the same time they're there. And that's where the most impact is in the relationships.
Yeah, we say it all the time, in the business and secular world, like people don't leave organizations. They don't leave companies.
Yeah.
They join other people.
Yeah.
And I'd like to unpack that, man, because I think you're one of the best in the game at doing that. I'm telling you, the relationships you have with these players, I see it in the way you interact with them. I see the level of respect that they hold for you and you for them.
I appreciate that.
Which I think is a big deal. It's clear and it's evidenced through, your ability to recruit high-level talent.
Yeah.
What do you do that's different? Like, what's your creed? What do you live by? If somebody said, man, I'm going to describe Dennis Gates in a sentence or two, and it sounds like this.
Well, it's simple. Dennis Gates believes in friendship, love, accountability, trust, discipline, unselfishness, enthusiasm, and toughness. And that is the invite and the pathway that allows me to see people for who they are, but also that's how, when I look back on my life and I figure out how did the inner city version of a young kid who dreamt of basketball fulfilled his dream, is because the people he was around, the coaches, and even his peers, those 8 words that I just mentioned was somehow personified in everyday life. And it stands out for me now as the reason why I've made it where I'm at. And it has allowed me to hire staff, recruit student athletes, but also understand to be able to be champions on the court, in the classroom, and in the community, you got to have some type of pathway, and that pathway is those 8 words for me. So if I had the typical Dennis Gates type of guy, it would be a guy that believes in those 8 core values that I just mentioned.
I see that represented in your coaching staff. I've had the honor of getting to know a couple of those gentlemen, and everything permeates from the top down.
Absolutely.
And I think you do an incredible job of walking the walk.
I appreciate it, man.
Let's talk about recruiting and how that landscape is so different now. Man, you're on fire. You're on a tear. You picked up some unbelievable kids to join this program. Without giving away the secret sauce, like, what are you doing different? How are you standing out?
Yeah.
And what is it, not only with the kid,
right,
that says that's a coach I want to play for, but also now with the parents or parent that's helping them make that decision?
People don't attract themselves or attach themselves to things they don't know, or people or things that they can't feel peace in. And I try to open up my arms, open up my heart to allowing these strangers who we're recruiting to become family members a clear front row seat into who I am. So transparency is key.
Huge.
Coaches and, Tony Bennett said something before in this press conference that coaches, we get a lot of credit when we win, or at least a little bit. And that credit that I receive, I pass it on to my staff and our players. But then coaches get a lot of blame for losses.
No doubt.
And I stand on the railroad tracks for my players and my staff, institution, and I put it on my shoulders. Although I've never shot a jump shot in my coaching career, right?
I want to talk about that because I'm a fan of you.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of this program. I'm a fan of the game. And one of the nemesis of the creation of social media is, the keyboard warriors and the people that hide behind the comments.
Yeah.
Man, how do you deal with that? You do put it on your shoulders. You do stand in front and take the heat. That's a lot, man. How do you do that?
So let me take you through the psychological part, because this is interesting. I'm glad you asked it. As soon as we're hired, or as soon as a job is open, we fall in love as coaches and employees of that institution, not as graduates sometimes, but as wanting to fulfill a dream. So we fall in love immediately. That don't mean the people, the stakeholders, the administration all love you. So you have to build the relationships regardless of where your love starts and where theirs start, without keeping score. And you have to do it in a way that's organic. You have to allow people to get to know you before you, try to even ask. You have to friend raise before you fundraise. You have to be able to show things. And at that point, it's up to the stakeholders, the alumni, the former players, to then give you a shot and a chance. I understand that, and I get it. Monday morning quarterbacks have every right to be Monday morning quarterbacks or Monday morning coaches, right? we have to understand that comes as the responsibility. The players know their responsibility is to go out and play, and guess what? On road games, you're going to get booed. Home games, you'll get cheered in a perfect world. Well, for coaches, you better be prepared for both from the home team, because we have a responsibility that spans college enrollment, homecoming, Chamber of Commerce in the city. It's the front door of every institution. Sports plays a major part of it.
Huge role.
Not the only arm, but it is a
Big.
major part. And sports in itself galvanizes communities beyond what the racial differences, the religion differences are. You're cheering for one logo, so they have every right. Some have been born into it. Some have married into it. They have every right to cheer, boo, and not support a head coach. Be result driven. Make them cheer for you.
Yeah.
And I just hope I give them opportunities to cheer more than they boo.
I think that's a very honorable answer to my question, because as somebody who's uber competitive, you know, and it's hard not to keep score, right? Man, yeah.
You got to have a little grace. You got to forgive them when they boo.
Yeah.
You can't take it personal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I've managed it.
I love that. Why Mizzou? When you left Cleveland State, you didn't leave. You were exceptionally accomplished there, and you had people calling on you.
Yeah.
Organizations, schools, institutions. What I'm sure, I don't know what to extent you can talk about who was trying to recruit Dennis Gates, but you know, I'm glad you're here. Why us?
I signed a 10-year extension at Cleveland State. Possible tenureship, lifetime involvement, right, at the institution. I left that, and I wasn't going to leave that just for anybody or any place. When you look at this institution, there's been about 12 to 13, 14 teams that never been to a Final Four in college basketball. I've always circled those schools as opportunities.
Love that.
Doesn't mean that those were the schools that were recruiting me, but those were the opportunities. That was one of the opportunities that made Mizzou stand out compared to others. Unreal fan base in all sports. A tradition in basketball that is comparable to a blue blood. Location is important, but I'll go back to the people. We have one of the best college presidents in all of college universities, no matter what level.
I agree. I'm not just saying that as a homer. He is the real deal.
Moon Choi is one of the best college presidents I've ever been around, and his availability, his care, his love, his story, his path, his experiences made him the right person, not only to be the president, but overseeing the University of Missouri system.
Yeah.
At the time, our AD, Desiree Reed-Francois, great leader, unbelievable in her own right. Our board of curators, the leadership within the board, being the only Power 5 team in this state meant that we're not only a Power 5, but we're the only, there's no pro basketball in a 2, 3, 4 hour drive radius.
Yeah, that's right.
So the fans are yearning for success in basketball, and I wouldn't have picked a better place, but I'm glad the people that were in the decision-making process chose me, and I just love it, man. It's a great conference. When you have football where it's at, you have basketball where it's at, but also you look at the fellow coaches. Eli Drinkowitz, what he's been able to accomplish and do. I've seen him, known about him since his time at Auburn, NC State, and then what he did at App.
Yeah.
So I looked at that.
Okay.
Because recruiting basketball means those football games are important. the camaraderie. It shows an example of what greatness could be. And he's personified it. He's done it at a high level. When you look at all the other coaches, Olympic and non-Olympic, we have some great sports. I love to support the institution top to bottom.
Love it. Love it. Well, I look at what you're doing. It's impressive, man. It's fun to be a part of it. If you look out the next 3 to 5 years, you know, not to be Nostradamus, but like, what are the things you're like, man, I see us doing this. I see us take specific to your program. You know, what are the things that are on the horizon for you? And then more importantly, what are the things that we could do to support that, encourage that, and help you get there?
So for me, I think when you look at each season we reset, my goal is national championship. Final Four. That's the goal. Nothing, anything short of that. People see me stoic. I think I'll smile and be excited and things like that when that happens. And I say when. I don't say if.
I heard it.
I've won championships as an assistant, won championships as a head coach, conference. I've never celebrated them. My staff gets on me, the people I work with gets on me. I've never celebrated it because that's not where my dream lies. It lies into, again, like I said, I know the schools in the country who've never been to a Final Four, and they've been circled on my wish list of employment, and Mizzou was the one that chose me.
I love it.
And other schools, I had 5 contracts on my desk my last season at Cleveland State. The year before that, I turned down 4 jobs probably to stay. Mizzou stood out as the best one for me, and it's because of the people, the support, whenever you see cranes and new buildings popping up on campuses, that means you got major support. And we have major support, major donors, people that give through the kindness of their heart, some of their treasures that they earned through blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of sacrifice. So I'm just appreciative that we have that here at Mizzou, and that stands out, man. It's beautiful. So when it comes down to it, we have to create an environment where Mizzou Arena is sold out every game.
Yeah.
If we create that, we'll have a place and a program from the external that's being invited into all these preseason tournaments, because then we would say we have a travel entourage that's supportive, not fair weather, supportive.
Yeah.
Supportive in a way that that student section sells out.
Yeah.
Our people travel from the east to the west coast.
Yep.
Because that's how much they love the sport. That's how much they love what we're building and a tradition. So we have to get more consistent in that. That's one of my wishes. But we have a great home court advantage, man.
We do.
It's one of the best in the country.
You guys
I've
are
not seen nothing like
at
it.
home.
I've not seen nothing like it. Yeah, we lost 3 games in the last 2 years.
That's unbelievable.
But there's bar none, and I've been to a lot of arenas, with the amount of people we fit in here and then the rowdiness of our crowd, no matter how old they are. We don't have a wine and cheese crowd. Arthritis, they don't feel it during the game. They stand up.
Yeah.
And you can't, I saw 80-year-old people rushing the court when we beat Kansas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grown adults.
Yes.
They trying to blame it on the students. I saw adults.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. Absolutely.
Without giving away your secret sauce, I want to share something. You were gracious enough to invite me to attend the Auburn game last year, and I saw something that I thought was so different and so unique, and I think it encapsulates a lot of your secret sauce and being who you are and having guys want to play for you. But you had each player get up at dinner and share something with us that we wouldn't normally know about them or have read about them.
Absolutely.
And to see some of these young men get up there that maybe have never spoken in front of a mic before, in front of that crowd, and some got really emotional.
Some cried.
Talking about you.
Some cried.
They did.
Absolutely.
And I got to tell you, that was super impressive, because in a competitive environment like college basketball in the SEC, you have to have intangibles besides, oh, he's going to get me to the league, or oh, their winning percentage.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be something more why a kid's going to be like, man, that's a coach I want to play for.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the things you focus on as a head coach to differentiate yourself with these players?
The question I ask myself when I recruit each kid and I get to know them, and then you'll get a kick out of this, what will make the 50-year-old version of that kid, no matter where he's living, come back to this institution based off his experience with me and the memories we built together?
I love that.
What will make that person bring his family when they don't have the money? What will make that person fly when they have the money? Drive if they can only afford gas, to come back to give to the university, support the program, whether they are on a road game or home. I ask myself that question, and if I ask that question, I get to now build out what it should look like. And it all has to look like a great relationship. It has to be an authentic relationship behind it. Like, if you're not talking to these young people in a transformational way, they know it, because this is the first time in their life they're making money, and it's transactional. And they still want the discipline. They still want their correction. They still, no matter what they're making, they still want to know that they're getting better and they're being taught something and their time's not being wasted. But they want to see you care. And my goal, because I still talk to my first elementary school coach, my high school coach, my AAU coach, my college coaches. Talk to all of them. My goal is to make sure that I preserve with those that play for me that same relationship that I have with those gentlemen, because they saved my life. So I think, B, at the end of the day, it's about building authentic relationships, no matter if you're telling them what they did wrong or what they did right. But if you have a balance of fairness, you'll create the right memories.
Well, Coach, I think if anybody had a superpower, as I sit back and watch you and observe and had the privilege of interacting, like, that's your superpower, man. Like, from the jump, when you first came to Mizzou, I'm going to point out two things. One, I think it's intimidating as a new coach, new town, new community, new relationships you're building. You reached out to a lot of the old coaches.
Every last one of them.
And what was that about? So that's one. So hold that. Yeah. That's one. But the second thing, my daughter goes to Mizzou. Mm-hmm. We came down for, Greek Week, House Decks, and, the big community gathering here in Columbia. And I look over and I see Dennis Skates and his kids in the community, walking around, talking to people. I think that was the first time I ever met you, actually. Yeah. But let's go back to the coaches. Like that, what great insight for you to do that, but I want to know why you did it.
So I have a book that I've written out on how and what I would do as a head coach. I did the same thing at Cleveland State that I did here at Mizzou. Head coaches sacrifice the relationship with their spouse and the relationship with their kids, and no one sees it. No one sees it but those family members that they know that will be by their side after their time as a steward at that institution expires. We know they'll be there, but we still sacrifice and put them second, third, fourth. I wanted to pay homage to the people that I'm replacing, right? Because the institution's still here. The people is the only change. So from Norm Stewart to Quinn Snyder, Kim Anderson, Frank Haif, Mike Anderson, Konzo Martin, I wouldn't have taken a job if it wasn't for me and Konzo's conversation. We put blood, sweat, and tears into this. Our relationship with our friends and family go aside just to attempt to be great at a job. So I wanted to make sure that I did it the right way. Transition's not easy for the student athletes. It's not easy for the fan base. It's not easy for the coach.
I bet.
So that was the reason that I did that, and I appreciate you acknowledging it.
That's pretty cool. A good segue from that is being at the top, man, heavy as the crown. Like, I'm sure there are nights you go home and you're like, woulda, shoulda, coulda, so close, didn't happen. How do you deal with the stress? How do you deal with, the amount of pressure? Because no doubt, man, like, you chose the profession. You're very good at it. Your family makes sacrifices so that you can afford to have opportunities for them and build out an amazing life. But at the end of the day, man, there's not a lot of people that you could probably pick up the phone and be like, hey, I need you. Or, hey, I'm calling on you because I'm hurting. Like, how do you do it?
I have a lot of mentors that I recruited. I didn't get a silver spoon into this profession. I had to show people that I was worthy, and it became their dream to see my dream come true, just because they saw a little bit of themselves in me, the younger version of themselves. So George Raveling has been key. My former college coaches that I've worked for, but George Raveling was key for me. My condolences to his family, friends, loved ones, but he impacted my life, man. I said, Coach, I want to be just like you. So he said, okay, go be this gentleman's graduate assistant. Without me even guessing or questioning him, I purchased my first car and was on my way driving to Tallahassee, Florida to work for Leonard Hamilton.
Blind faith.
Blind faith. And I didn't question anything. I said, Coach, as soon as I got there, I want to be just like you, okay? I want to be this impactful coach. I want to be successful. I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to do that. He put me in position to fail under his watch, but I didn't realize how much of a custodial he really was cleaning up my mess until I became a head coach and moved a couple seats over. I apologize to him every day I talk to him. Coach, I'm sorry. I was the worst assistant in America. I thought I knew everything, but you were patient with me. You were very patient. And having access to a person who has coached for 5 decades, since his young assistant coaching professional job at Austin Peay to what he did at the University of Kentucky. What better person to learn from? And I can call him in the middle of the night. I can call him early in the morning. And if he doesn't answer his cell phone, I can call the house phone. His wife will pick up. I'm like, is Coach asleep? Yeah, hold on. At that point, she knows she's not going to wake up her husband. Ms. Hamilton is not going to wake up her husband for anybody. And as soon as he get on the phone, he like, Coach, what you doing? Man, I was waiting on your call. But your wife told me you asleep. So when you have mentors available on call, man, they walk you through the whole process and make sure that you're prepared while you're working for them.
What a special relationship, man. Everybody needs that. For the guys and gals listening, what's one piece of advice you would give people on their journey right now if they're pursuing a leadership endeavor? And all of us are leaders, right? We're leaders in our home, leaders at work, no matter what the title says. But what advice would you give somebody relative to the leadership you've received and what you do?
I would tell them you're not as good as you think you are, and you're not as bad as you may think you are. Work is work. You have to educate yourself and become a learner, not just in a profession, but learn from different leaders in different sectors, not just business, not just sports, but people who are leading people. The biggest form of that is have grace like a kindergarten teacher. And if you have that, you can develop any and everybody, and you'll develop the most important thing. Nothing's done. There's no progress without patience. And you can't get too far ahead of yourself, too far behind. I can't feel elated for just wins. I have to feel elated for the process. Sometimes the process requires you to take a step backwards to be able to achieve and grow and develop. And that's where the reward lies, in how you recovered, but also how you attack the adversity. So I would say attacking the adversity as well.
I love it. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, and we caught you right in the middle of season and conference play. Dennis Gates, ladies and gentlemen, humble, authentic, great leader and relationship builder. I appreciate your time, brother. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Appreciate you, B.
All right.
Much love, man. M-I-Z.
C-O-U. Thank you for watching the Brian Roberts podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, please be sure to follow the podcast for more just like it.